Day 34. Are you trying to find hope in hopelessness? Hello to you. Welcome to Jimmy's Daily Grind. Thank you for joining me today. How are you doing? I would like to show some gratitude for your support and your contribution. It really keeps me going and be self-accountable daily. Doing this alone is not easy. It becomes easier when there are others in the picture who can encourage me to keep going. And to those that have just started listening or watching, welcome, and I hope you stay. As you are preparing for Valentine's Day this February, please remember that Teen Suicide Week is scheduled for the 14th of February until the 21st of February 2022. Please pay attention and help teenagers wherever you can. Hopelessness. Hopelessness is a feeling of despair, the feeling that life can be better than what it is right now. And for some reason, these feelings can lead us to a lack of motivation, a lack of interest, and taking any sort of action, and lack investment in self-care and lose all interest in life as a whole. Hopelessness is a very powerful feeling that some of us are experiencing currently or have experienced it in the past. I bet a lot of us felt this during lockdown and are still feeling it right now. Unfortunately, in extreme cases of hopelessness, one can and may feel like committing suicide. Now, before I take a look at some solutions around how, with the right support and a change in mindset, hopelessness can be conquered, let me take a look at what it is exactly and explore it a bit. Hopelessness is usually associated and linked with us as individuals seeking to isolate ourselves from the world, as we see the world as an unfriendly place in some way or another. Some of these reasons may be caused by a variety of events that we go through every once in a while, such as a relationship breakdown, financial issues, health concerns, and loss in general. Addiction fuels hopelessness, which can be felt after a day of regretful actions. The guilt and the shame experienced when we realize the consequences of our actions from the night before. These negative circumstances we experience may be the cause to feeling hopeless. In addiction recovery, we sometimes feel hope disappear when we frequently feel that our effort that we are putting into our recovery seem not to be bearing any fruit, or do not see the results that we expect. When we are in that state of mind, we feel stuck in a deep dark hole that feels impossible to climb out of. Have you heard about the story of the drunk who fell into a hole? Well, let me tell you about it. A drunk fell in a hole and couldn't get out. A businessman went by. The drunk called out for help, and the businessman threw him some money and told him to go and buy a ladder. But the drunk could not find a ladder in this hole that he was stuck in. A doctor walked by, and the drunk said, "Help, I can't get out." The doctor gave him drugs and said, "Take this, it will relieve the pain." The drunk said, "Thank you," but when the pills ran out, he was still in the hole. A renowned psychiatrist came by and heard the drunk cries for help. He stopped and said, "How did you get there? Were you born there?" Were you put there by your parents? Tell me about yourself. It will alleviate your sense of loneliness. So the drunk talked to him for an hour or so. Then the psychiatrist had to leave, but he said he'd be back next week. The drunk thanked him, but he was still in the hall. A priest came by, and the drunk called out for help. The priest gave him a Bible and said, "I'll say a prayer for you." He got down on his knees and prayed for the drunk and then left. The drunk was very grateful. He read the Bible, but he was still stuck in the hole. A recovering alcoholic happened to be passing by. The drunk cried out, "Hey, help me. I am stuck in this hole." Right away, the recovering alcoholic jumped into the hole with him. The drunk said, "What are you doing? Now we are both stuck in here." But the recovering alcoholic said, "It's okay. I've been here before. I know how to get out." The moral of the story is that a person who has traveled a similar path may be in the best position to help us out of our rock bottoms, where despair and hopelessness are felt the most. Hopelessness can be a vicious cycle in that when one feels hopeless, they engage in behaviors similar to depression behaviors, such as oversleeping, isolating, drinking too much alcohol, overeating, or engaging in escapism, which usually only end up magnifying the feelings of hopelessness. And as such, when feeling hopeless, we must push ourselves in engaging in activities we may not feel like doing, such as getting out of bed, making our beds, having conversations, maybe getting active, and getting a nutritious meal. Getting out of this state of hopelessness and finding hope again involves some action that in themselves may be very hard for the ones who are experiencing the despair, but it requires willingness for us to take action, beginning with acceptance of the condition of feeling absolutely hopeless. Some say that some examples of behavioral changes that people can make include things such as getting enough sleep, eating healthier, engaging in a regular exercise regimen, quietening the mind through breathing exercises, meditation, and perhaps some yoga, using less technology, being social, and avoiding alcohol. These changes may be very difficult to implement, just like any other change, and they may be extremely overwhelming to us. But the solution lies in small incremental changes daily. Let us halt catastrophizing our mental, physical state and present circumstances. It may not be as bad as we think it is, and by exaggerating our situation, we may make the situation slightly worse. When we are feeling hopeless, we need to try and think of a time when we had hope and how we felt when the world seemed to be a better place. The reclamation will provide a bit of positivity and may diminish the negative feelings. There is an acronym that is used a lot in recovery fellowships called HALT, which stands for hunger, anger, loneliness, and tiredness. We are advised to use this as a questionnaire to pinpoint the cause of our negative feelings that may lead to relapse. We ask ourselves, are we hungry? And if the answer is yes, then we take action to get something to eat. We ask, are we angry? Then find out what the cause of the anger is and find a solution to deal with it through introspection and internal investigation. Remember, we are the only ones who can control how we feel, and we need to take the power back from the external circumstances and start the process of changing our thoughts. If we are feeling lonely, then we need to reach out to somebody, help another individual, have a conversation, take a walk with our dogs, and finally, we need to ask ourselves if we are tired. Exhaustion causes us to have negative thoughts. Our bodies give our minds cues that are there to encourage us to rest, take a break, refresh our minds, take a nap, or do whatever it is that will help you relax, such as meditate, do some yoga, find a quiet place to have a conversation with your higher power. Once the action is taken, you should feel better and more encouraged to find some hope. Never give up. Mental health and wellness is possible. We need to be intentional about self-care and get to know how our minds work and how we can encounter the negativity that we feel. Hopelessness is a state of mind that with enough practice we can conquer and feel good again. A person dealing with depression is never themselves and can feel like we are under some sort of spell or enchantment. The battle towards healing is a battle that is worth embarking on because winning it is worth it. It may feel worse for a period of time, but eventually we will get there. We cannot do it alone though. It is almost impossible to get started alone. Healing from diminished hope and diminished motivation requires something or someone outside of ourselves. Something greater than us, as our positive spirit is constantly attacked, replacing our thoughts and feelings with apathy and despair. Finding someone who has gone through the same experience, or a professional who will be able to provide help for us. We can join a fellowship, meet others, and listen to what advice they may have for us, like the recovering alcoholic who jumped into the hole with the drunk to show him how he was able to get out of the hole he has been in before. Get a sponsor, get a therapist, or get an accountability buddy who will assist you with self-improvement. When we feel powerless, we need to find something greater than ourselves to help us get out of that state of powerlessness. So, the choice exists that we can take back some control through exercising the power of choice. Choose to heal and allow your higher power in to guide you. If you feel alienated, forsaken, uninspired, powerless, oppressed, limited, or have a sense of pending doom, helpless, and experience severe amounts of guilt or shame, and when you feel like you just want to give up, then do the following. Get outside of your own thoughts and take an accurate look at the situation. Do this with others and request they appraise the situation with you. Think deeply about what your contribution is to the situation or your own involvement in it. Do not make up your own conclusions about others' involvement. Focus on your own, because that is the only thing you can actually change. Stop the thoughts that make you feel stuck in the current situation. If you can see treatment in a facility that specializes in this and can be taught how to overcome this, Find something that is greater than yourself to put your faith in, such as a new passion, a new habit, a new activity, and get back in touch with your spirituality and your God. Tumi's Daily Grind is a presentation purely based on my experiences, inspiration I have found from others, learnings I have earned, and things I have been taught throughout various periods of my life. This show is not representative of any group, organization, religious or spiritual beliefs, or any sobriety program. My goal is to open up a conversation about some things that have been difficult for me to talk about and purely encourage others to be open-minded to the tools that may be or are freely available. On this program, I talk about recovery, spiritual growth, mental health issues, sobriety, relapses, and spiritual well-being, focusing mainly on the daily work, the grind that goes into finding peace of mind, contentment, and freedom from addiction, life's hardships, daily spiritual and mental struggles. I hope that together we can find solutions, inspiration, and motivation on living healthy, present, sober, and clean while we travel together on this journey toward finding enlightenment and at least some peace of mind. Thank you for your time, your support, and being with me on this journey to finding serenity. If you enjoy listening to me, please subscribe and let your friends, your family, and your tribe know that they can also join me on this journey. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can send an email to tumisdailygrind@gmail.com. Until I see you next time, stay well and may your higher power shower you with blessings and keep you safe today. Let us be diligent with the work required to achieve our goals and hopefully experience serenity and some peace of mind. The answers are always right in front of us and will be revealed if we truly seek them. Let us be present, conscious, and intentional in our lives and grow positively to achieve the happiness we truly seek. Goodbye for now. I will see you next time. Lots of love.